Good morning, it's Michael with Crawlspace. We're your premier crawlspace restoration company. Today we're out here in Whitmore Lake. Last year we installed a steel door and a window well for this home, and today we're coming back to do the encapsulation. Today is January 29th, 2024. Well, without further ado, let's get in and see what we're working with. You may be thinking that the overall condition of the crawl space does not appear to look that bad. The ground has a covering, but it is only landscape fabric, and that does not stop soil gas or water. Good thing is there does not appear to be any visible signs of mold on the subfloor. The furnace is in this crawl space. There are some pros and cons to this. One of the pros is that we could help condition the crawl space with this furnace, and one of the cons is, in its present condition, it is pulling air from the crawl space into the furnace. Besides the fact that there is no vapor barrier, there is something more at play here. It is called the stack effect. During the colder season, while our furnace is running, it is producing heat. That heat rises and it escapes through gaps and cracks around light fixtures and anything that is not properly sealed. They may not seem that bad, but that air has to be replaced. So what is happening is that as the heat is rising, cold air is being pulled in from outside sources, mixing with the air in the crawl space. In this case, air from the crawl space is then being pulled into the furnace and into the house. We are not going to be able to stop the hot air from escaping, but we are going to change the overall environment of the house. We are going to be adding a radiant foil-faced foam board insulation to the walls and insulating the bond with R30 fiberglass insulation. Then we will be encapsulating the crawl space with a 90mm zero perm system. This system will keep out 95% of all soil gases, and it traps moisture behind the liner. Conditioning this crawl space will help with the overall energy efficiency of the furnace. Finally, we will be adding a 70-pint dehumidifier to help remove the humidity from the warmer months. Before we can start the process of prepping the crawl space for the zero perm system, we will have to add a French drain system and a sub pump. It takes a lot of work to properly install a zero perm system, so if there are any signs of standing water or high water tables, we have to address those first. So we will be installing a French drain system to ensure that the liner is not compromised. Good morning, everybody. Today is day 3. I just want to show you our progress so far. We had started digging our trench. This is not a graded trench. We still have to go deeper. Had the guy start so that we could split the digging up. As you can see, we're grading some of the ground. The ground is still very wet. this part of the trench has actually been graded. You can see the difference. There's water in the trench today. This is the high water table. The flow is actually going this way, but we gotta dig out all the water. There's Caesar working really hard for you. Come up here, show you the sub pump pit. As you can see, there's already a foot of water in there. So we still have to dig the French drain along this wall. There's a lot of digging we still have to do. So yesterday, we went ahead and dug our trench. This is where the drain is going to go from the sub pump. We're going to bring it out and dump it off into the woods. As you can see, this is all really wet. There is water in the trench. This is the gutter coming out right here. So again, we dug a trench and we're going to be taking it to the woods. And as you can see in the trench, it's full of water. So it's going to be good to get this away from the house. Hopefully it'll help this part of the property to dry up. It's very wet and muddy conditions. Here's the outside of the window that we've already replaced. We've pulled out the galvanized window well and replaced it with cinder block. So we do have the French drain completely installed. Have one window removed and blacked up. It's really good. We have plastic down on this side of the crawl space. The plumbers are going to be replacing this cast iron. We wanted to make sure they had a good working area. I'm going to go look at the sub pump. As you can see, that's the water table. This is how high the water is in the crawl space. So what's going to be happening until we get a pump in there, the French drain is going to be filling with water, and when it gets to the point where there's too much water, then the crawl space will start to flood. But we're not going to let that happen, and we'll be installing the sub pump soon. Let's go check outside. Okay, here is our gutter installed. And how this is going to work is every time the sub pump, which is going to come out right here, kicks on, it's going to keep this clean. And this runs all the way down. As you can see, we have it covered really nice. I'll walk through the mud so you don't have to. To the drain. It's called a lawn wedge. And it flows great right downhill. And the other one, yeah, we got our machine stuck over here. We're dealing in slippery clay. We're sliding as we're walking across. This isn't completed yet. We still are waiting on a lawn wedge, but it's coming out to here. You can see the pipe before we bury it. So now we are moving the water away from the home. We connected into existing plumbing. We put a 22.5, sent it down to another 22.5, and ran it out. And we also added a clean out. That way we can wash this down, and it's just a lot better situation. Good morning, this is day number 6, and this is our progress so far. Okay, as you can see, we have drilled weeping holes into the block. These weeping holes allow moisture or water that builds up in the block to come out. And as you can see, this is a little bit of a wet corner. But there are weeping holes all the way down. We have plastic down. We have to add a little bit more plastic. This is the new drain line. Plumbers did a good job. ground is stiffening up. It's not as soggy as it was. As you can see, the divots. But now it's more like a hard clay. And then as you can see, now that the water has settled down, once we get this cleaned out, the water will be absolutely clear that comes into this crock. And if there was a pump in that right now, that would have already kicked on. And we will be cleaning up this pump. Good morning. We're on day 7 and here's our progress so far. So today we're installing the insulation on the walls. We are using a tongue and groove insulation. We have all the windows in the crawl space blocked up. As you can see, insulation is lined up, ready to go on the wall. no change in there yet. We did take this piece of ductwork down because we had to close off this window, which we still got a little bit of shimming to do. And as you can see, there's a small gap here. We can't get on the back side of it. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna fill this gap with spray foam and keep that completely sealed. Take you and show you the sub pump. By the way, the ground is getting harder every day. That's a good indication that the sub pump and French drain is working. This particular pump, we ended up having a faulty foot switch on it, and they are replacing it, and I'm going to be replacing it as well. But as you can see, the sub pump is installed. We have to put the dome lid and all that on there. But other than that, today we're hoping to have the walls insulated and vapor barrier on the walls. Seems like it's more of a mess today than it was when we got here. Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure you shave that spray foam down that's on the block.
Where? At the very top?
Yeah, towards the edge of the corner. This is the completed crawl space. As you can see, everything is sealed and taped. Dehumidifier, and we have a drain for the hot water heater going into the French drain system, the new plumbing everywhere. The pipes are going out. Things are wrapped. This crawl space is 100% sealed. There's radon shield around every piece of plumbing.